In previous comments, there were viewers who wanted to know why some of my former friends didn't stick up for or go to bat for me. And before I get into that, let's look at exactly what was being said in and about late 2017. The very first incident was my captain at the time, Big John, approaching Johnny Sideburns and myself, using an accusatory tone and telling us that there were two friends, inducted members, cooperating with law enforcement. This information was true, but incorrect. There were several associates, one being Robert Spinelli, who were acting as confidential informants for the FBI. And we know this now because of the information that came out during the Lucchese trial in White Plains. So Big John was only partly right. As a captain, it's his duty to warn members of his crew, not speak to them in accusatory tones. And I responded to him with disgust at the way he conducted himself, especially in his position, and told him, let's find them and kill them. After all, we were the mob. Isn't that what we were expected to do? For some reason, Sideburns found humor in all of this by lifting his shirt up to show he wasn't wearing a wire. And I've told this story before. Once we were outside, I gave him a tongue lashing about that, and also lifted my shirt up and showed him I could have done the same, but I refused to let Big John degrade us. And the reason I mention this, or rather repeat the story, is to give viewers an idea what the temperature was during that time within the Lucchese family. They were extremely paranoid and didn't know who to trust. And this is something that Big John and his degenerate brother Bubsy used to their advantage by placing a false wire on me. At this point in my life, I'm able to say the following. Strategically, it was a very good move. Had they not, Bubsy would have been a corpse. Anyway, when the false label was put on me, it spread like wildfire, even to the ears of my friends, naturally creating concern and worry. In these situations, people tend to keep their distance. Understandably, they don't know what to believe. Guys in my inner circle did speak to me, but I knew something was off. And let me state for the record, no one came to me at any point and told me what was being said. I was totally in the dark and had to figure things out on my own. Why didn't they tell me? First and foremost, they didn't know if the rumor was true or not. And secondly, they were worried that I would go make a scene and possibly repeat what they told me. So they were caught in the middle, so to speak. But at the end of the day, they showed me zero loyalty. I was close to certain guys. Patty Delarusso, I expected this from. He already proved to be a snake and an extremely jealous guy. So the fact that he never warned me didn't surprise me. Patty knew I had his number. He's a fraud who only cares about himself, and that's why he no longer has a position. He not only showed me his true colors, but he showed others as well. I can't get into details, but what was being said about Patty by the Lucchese administration kind of put a smile on my face, as what goes around comes around. Out of the circle of friends I had, one by one, I began cutting them off. Or rather, they caused me to cut them off by displaying distrust. Friendships between men are a great thing. Guys can have a lot of fun together and enjoy each other's company. But when it comes to guys that are involved in that life, there's a totally different type of friendship. Your life literally depends on the friends you choose. History has shown these are the people the mob utilizes when they want to kill a person. But there was a time back then when I thought I had good friends. These were people that I allowed to be around my youngest daughter and interact with them. So I want viewers to put yourselves in my shoes or try to imagine being me and finding out that your close friends knew what was being said, something serious enough to get you killed. And the result would have been that the little girl in this picture, as well as my two older kids, would no longer have their father around. If the rumor was confirmed and true, and I was indeed an informant, I've always said this, then I deserve to be left in the street or in the trunk of a car or wherever. But this wasn't the case. That happening would have been an unjust tragedy, and my children would have suffered. But no one really cared about them, or me for that matter. When judging friends, you want people who defend you when you're not present. I'll give you an example regarding an incident that took place in June 2007 when I had been out of prison for about a week. A good friend of mine, who was living in Staten Island at the time, wanted me to meet them in the old Angelina's, which was in Annandale, Staten Island. When I arrived, my friend introduced me to Big Ange, God rest her soul, and he told her that I was good friends with Anthony Guzzo, someone she once dated. In the blink of an eye, she immediately began bashing Anthony. and I became very upset with her and told her not to badmouth my friend. She did apologize and said all you guys who come home are so uptight. She was a good person. Obviously, Anthony wasn't present, but what's more important is the things she was saying about him happened to be true, which had to do with his character. But it didn't matter to me. He was my friend, and I wasn't allowing that. I was a good friend to Anthony. And what did Anthony give me as a friend in return? He went to our captain, Big John, and fabricated a story that he had to pay a lawyer $1,500 and that I owed him that money. It would come to surface that Anthony lied about the whole story. Nice guy, nice friend. And he's been caught bad-mouthing me on several occasions. He even blamed me to get out of an assault we were supposed to carry out. And this is what viewers need to understand about the mob. These friendships are surface ones, nothing more. There was a day when I sat at a table with Big John, Johnny Sideburns, and Anthony, and prior to sitting down, Sideburns came to me and told me, bury him. And I could have. But before we walked in, Anthony grabbed me and said, you got to stick up for me. And that's exactly what I did when we sat down. I took the weight, which even caused me to have words with Big John. If you haven't liked this video yet, please take the time now and give it a like, as it helps with YouTube's algorithm. Anyone who'd like to show their appreciation for videos like this or help me to continue making them, you can donate with the Super Thanks icon down below or through the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. Let me quickly mention my blog, also called Sit Down News, especially for those of you who still enjoy reading. It can be found at sitdownnews.com and is a paid subscription. I recently posted a quote from Roberto Saviano, the author of Gomorrah, and this will be the topic of my upcoming blog, which I'm in the finishing stages now. The mob despises journalism or videos like this. Why? Because it shows their true nature, things the outside world were not privy to, and they don't want you to hear this. I learned the hard way. I didn't lose friends because, as the saying goes, with friends like that, who needs enemies? And whether they'll admit it or not, or whether people will believe it, it was them, my former friends, who lost a friend in me. The mob, specifically the Lucchese family, has taught me many lessons. And chief among them is what to look for in a friend, but more crucially, the telltale signs of a phony.